What's going on, guys? Anime Yokage back for One Piece spoilers, chapter 1105. I wanted to get this out earlier, but I had my job and all that kind of stuff, but it's all taken care of now, so let's jump into it. The title of the chapter is Pinnacle of Stupidity. We'll find out why that is later. But for everyone who cares about the cover story, it's actually Carrot making a soup for Inuarashi and Nekomamushi. Very cute, very wholesome. Let's get back into the story. So the beginning note of this is justice will rain down impartially to all. Very ominous, very cool. Justice will apparently rain down on everyone besides the people who deserve it. Because all the Marines are running back to their ships, they are all getting called off the island. Due to Nico Robin's favorite time of year, Buster Call season. Vice Admiral Dahl actually comes up and tells Saturn and Kizaru that we need to get off this island due to what's coming. And Saturn claims that himself and Kizaru will stay on the island and see it through. With Kizaru being a Logia and also Saturn being some kind of omnipotent, unkillable being, I don't think they're very worried about a Buster Call. Bunch of cannons. It's not really a big deal. So Kizaru goes ahead and tells Vice Admiral Dahl, no, you get on the ship.
Go!
I was asking about Minnesota, though.
Go away!
Dude, what's wrong?
She says yes, sir, and takes off. At least I hope it's Dahl that's going to get on the ship. I'll talk more about that theory later. Gotta stick to the here and now spoilers, not theory talk. We'll save that. So Vegapunk is pleading with Saturn, wouldn't it be efficient to only kill me? There are so many records, logs, information, history that is recorded here on Egghead and Egghead only within Punk Records. He claims that if you level this island, you level all that, which we know, of course, is Saturn's entire plan.
I hate this bitch. Oh my god, I hate this bitch.
Because not that long ago, O'Hara had the same thing coming. Saturn doesn't want any of this potential information leaving the island, especially some kind of information or technology that could lead to the cause of people thinking there might have been something about the Void Century. Saturn just goes ahead and cuts off Vegapunk, saying, that's not possible. In fact, the ship that evacuated Egghead yesterday, I already sent a Marine vessel to sink that ship even. It's kind of a cool parallel between Saturn and Akainu to show just how ruthless they are and why we should hate them. Whenever the Buster Call got called on O'Hara, Akainu actually saw a evacuation ship that was filled with scholars, women, children, all the above. And just to make sure that no information left the island whatsoever, he had that ship shot down as well. And Saturn has the same exact contingency plan. There can be no survivors because with survivors, there can be information. And with information, there can be chaos. Well, chaos for them, liberation for everybody else. Kind of weird how the parallel meets to our own world. But I'm not going to put on my tinfoil hat. I'm going to stick to One Piece. Now, I think this next part is an odd move by Saturn, but Saturn actually says that all the Pacifistas need to stay within the island during the Buster Call. Now, this is either a dumb move because the Pacifistas are a main force within the Marines, kind of the big daddy they call in whenever they need to take care of business. Or it's a very precautionary, smart move by Saturn. Because since the Pacifistas were created by Vegapunk, and he already saw that whenever Kuma had his self-destruct button hit, he didn't actually self-destruct. He was supposed to just shut down and not move anymore, which we all saw didn't work. But that would give Saturn reason to believe that the Pacifistas have some kind of weird failsafe that they don't know about. Also, it could be that Saturn believes the Pacifistas are just so durable that this Buster Call really won't affect them, or he's just willing to take the loss of a few to make sure that everyone that he wants dead on that island stays on the island. Because even though the Straw Hats and everybody else are very powerful, a Pacifista could still slow them down so they're involved within the Buster Call. So 1, it's dumb. 2, it's really smart. 3, Saturn just doesn't care. But while all this is happening, Sanji is actually pushing everybody into the vacuum rocket and telling it to take off while he goes back to help Vegapunk, who is obviously stalling for time. We cut over to the back of the Labo phase where we see Nami, Robin, and Chopper. But Robin is sleeping. I don't remember this being a thing to where she's just sleeping.
I said to myself, what the hell happened to her?
I don't remember her getting injured or remember her getting so worn out from a battle or anything like that to where she'd need to sleep. You'd think during all this chaos and all the PTSD of Buster calls in her life, which this will be her third.
This is not a banger. This is not a banger. And I know bangers. I know bangers.
You'd think that she would wake up or just be alert of some kind, but apparently she's just snoozing away.
I don't trust people to take naps. Like, the whole world's moving while you're napping, bro.
Now, I know that she did have a lot of mental burden whenever the thing with York was happening and she was getting flashbacks to O'Hara, but I don't think that this would be something to make her pass out. I just went and looked, and there's no record of anyone that I can find in discussions talking about why Robin is just asleep. So if you guys know, please comment and let me know so I'm a little more filled in. I have no idea what's going on with that. But there's no need to focus on it because nothing happens with Robin in this chapter anyways, so we're going to keep moving forward. Nami is obviously worried about Luffy's safety, to where Sanji reassures her and is giving her updates over their communication devices. It turns out that Brook and Lilith figured out a way to move the Thousand Sunny by melting the clouds, like the kind of cloud island stuff that the Sunny was sitting on, and they're actually moving it that way by either melting them, but Brook's powers freeze stuff. So maybe they're just freezing it and being able to slide it across. But either way, Lilith actually commends Brook on his ability to do this. Now, Brook is absolutely basking in this praise from Dr. Vegapunk, but it's very short-lived because now that the ship is moving, they are faced with a situation. Because the Sunny is very large and very heavy. How are they going to stop it? I know that they'll figure it out because they have a lot of powerful people with them, and also the Sunny is going to be protected by plot armor, so we don't need to worry about that. They'll figure out a way. But here's something we were all wondering. What's going on with Zoro and Lucci? We don't get to see anything in this chapter, but Jinbei actually is starting to get worried, and he takes off to go break up the fight and help Zoro, but also to make sure that Zoro doesn't get lost. Because as One Piece fans, we all know that if Zoro were to win the fight and go, all right, I'm going to head back towards the Sunny, or all right, I'm going to go help Luffy now. More than likely, if neither of those things are within Zoro's eyesight, he's not going to make it there. The dude died and got lost on his way to hell, and that's why he's still here. It's actually really funny because I believe in the One Piece World Seeker game, when you get to play as Zoro, in the bottom corner, they have that mini map that you can kind of like see in all your games of where you're going and get orientation for the ground or where you're at. And when it shows his, it's completely blurred out because there's no way that Zoro would even know that in a video game. So they have to give us the real life perspective. I thought it was really clever. So if you remember, Sanji stuffed everybody in the vacuum rocket, which, you know, Atlas, Bonnie, Kuma, Frankie, the whole gang. But Kizaru does not want them to get away, which kind of sucks because if Kizaru doesn't want you to get away, you're not getting away unless Rayleigh shows up and fights him off while Kuma sends you to every corner of the planet in an instant. That's pretty much the only way you're getting away. But Kuma's out of commission and Rayleigh is nowhere to be found right now, so I don't think we're going to get that. Kizaru flies up to the vacuum rocket and slices it open. And I'm not talking just slices the tube where they're heading. He actually cuts the tube and the rocket in half, making everyone spill out to the ground. And I don't know if you guys knew this, but Kizaru's sword attack, it actually has a name to it. And it's pretty cool. The attack is called Sword of the Gathering Clouds of Heaven, which is very badass and cool, but it's a lightsaber. Just call it what it is. It's a lightsaber. Because what else would it be? And as everybody falls to the ground, Saturn actually orders the Pacifistas to fire upon everyone who fell. And Saturn makes a little backhanded comment saying how pathetic it will be that Kuma and his friends will all be killed by clones of Kuma himself. The dude has had the craziest vendetta against Kuma ever since he was a kid and did nothing to him. And now he probably feels validated because Kuma got one shot off on him. But right after that, that's where we get the title of the chapter. Saturn says, this is the pinnacle of stupidity. Which stupidity, dude? You lock the dude in a lifetime binding contract. But now we've just landed upon the craziest part of the entire chapter, which happens to be the final page. At least I think it's the craziest part of the chapter because of the implications. Remember that ship that Saturn said he sent to go shoot down the Egghead people? Well, his marine ship got shot down itself. And we don't know by who. Now, I think it could be 3 different choices. It could either be Dragon, which we know he never shows up to anything, but it would be cool and it would move the plot line along. It could be Blackbeard and or part of Blackbeard's crew, which that'll move the plot along. It'll be crazy to see what Blackbeard is trying to show up to steal. We all know that he just shows up to steal things. And it's really cool to know there's a character lurking in the background of the story. And no matter how powerful some characters may be, Blackbeard could steal their fruit. And given the opportunity, he will. So not even people like Kizaru or Saturn are safe from this. I don't know. It's just something like we haven't seen in a lot of stories or anything like that. It's just a character who just always has, it's always lurking in the background and it's always there. It's just there. It's not the main antagonist at the moment. He's going to be, I believe, the main antagonist at the end, but he's not the prominent antagonist that could just jump in right now. But he could be, and that's the beauty of Blackbeard. Or the third option, the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. Now, this would be super cool to see everybody again and watch them save their captain, but I don't think it'll progress the plot line at all, which I don't know if this plot line needs to be progressed because next they're heading to Elbaf. So it would be super awesome to see the Grand Fleet actually do something and be relevant of some kind. I just don't think it'll move the storyline along at all. But it makes sense because it's been told around the world that Luffy is on Egghead and he's being surrounded by marine vessels. So everybody that's in the Grand Fleet would know about it and would want to go immediately go help their captain. All 3 of these options have a reason to be there, but I'm just wondering whose it's going to be. The surviving marine of the sunken battleship calls out and says, "Contact Kizaru. We need to tell him that they are heading to Egghead." Which I believe there's so many different parties that could be heading to Egghead to jump into this big mess. I don't know why this random marine soldier would be able to build up suspense for the viewer. Just seems like he would say it for information purposes. But remember earlier when I said there was some kind of theory that I would talk about at the end? It's time for that theory. And I don't know who originated this theory, but I first heard of it from Tekking, actually. And the theory is that if it is a ship of Blackbeard's crew, and on that crew of that ship happens to be Katarina Devon, Vice Admiral Dahl might not be Vice Admiral Dahl. We all know that Katarina Devon's calling card is killing beautiful women, and now that she can take over their form, I believe that's who she will kill and take over the form of. And I think we can all agree that Vice Admiral Dahl falls right into that category. And who better to take over than a Vice Admiral of the Marines that is the head of G14 and has access to the Marine headquarters? So Blackbeard could become privy to all the information that falls into the Marines' hands. God, I hope this is not true, but it is a very real thing lurking in the background, so we have to acknowledge it. But that's the end of the chapter, and there's absolutely no break next week, so we're going to be able to jump right back into the next part of the story. I desperately want to hear who you guys think they are, and why do you think they are who you think they are? We have so many things to think about in these spoilers, so many things to contemplate, and so many things to talk about. So please drop your thoughts below, and let's talk about it. And if you guys are still watching, thank you so much for your support. And if you're still here, please, I would ask for a small channel. I know you hear this from every small channel, but every like, comment, and subscription helps us out dramatically. I don't even care if you hit the noti bell. I just want to make sure that this channel keeps going and I'm able to come at you guys with the newest and greatest anime content every single week. Also, if you guys think that there's any other anime that I should be watching and covering, please let me know. I would absolutely love to dive in and see if it's something I can talk about. So until next time, I'm Anime Okage. See ya.